Okay, so today we're diving deep into a question that's really changing how we consume and share information.
Mhm.
In the digital world, what's really winning? Is it short form or long form video?
It seems like an easy answer sometimes, right? Fast world, fast content.
Exactly. But we've dug into a stack of, well, really fascinating sources that kind of challenge those common assumptions.
Yeah,
There's more to it. We want to give you the shortcut, basically, to being well informed on this, cut through the noise, figure out what's actually going on.
right.
So, the core question we're tackling for you is this: does this fast paced digital world really demand only quick, snappy stuff?
Or is there still a powerful place for that deeper, longer content? Maybe even a surprising one.
Yeah, maybe.
So our mission here for this deep dive is pretty clear. We're going to pin down exactly what these different video types are,
Okay.
explore where they actually live, on different platforms.
Mm.
Then we'll break down how you use them strategically
Mm-hmm.
for different marketing goals.
Right.
And crucially, look at how podcasters specifically are using both short and long video.
Yeah.
Not just to grab attention, but to get really impactful messages across.
Okay, so let's lay some groundwork. Let's quickly nail down what we actually mean by these terms.
Good idea.
When we talk about long form video content, generally that's anything over, say, 10 minutes.
Right.
Think webinars, those really polished brand films, or, full video podcasts people watch now.
The substantial stuff.
Then there's short form video content. Typically, that's anything under 10 minutes.
Okay, so a broad category.
It is broad, yeah. Includes promotional stuff, maybe 5 seconds up to like 3 minutes sometimes.
Yeah.
Video ads, movie trailers, that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
And then a specific kind of short form, snackable video content. These are the super quick ones, under a minute.
Ah, okay. The really fast bites.
Exactly. TikToks, Instagram Reels, stories, stuff designed for just, rapid scrolling and consumption.
What's really fascinating, I think, is seeing how these formats actually developed over time.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at YouTube back when it launched, 2005, right?
Yeah.
It was basically set up for longer videos.
Yeah, that was the default.
Creators could upload pretty lengthy stuff, and that was, well, normal.
Right.
But then you fast forward, and suddenly TikTok explodes onto the scene.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
And that just completely flipped viewer preferences.
Yeah.
Suddenly it was all about these quick, snappy clips.
Well, it's like our brains got rewired a bit.
It really feels like it. That instant gratification, that little dopamine hit from a quick laugh or learning one tiny thing super fast.
Totally.
And seeing this huge shift, this change in how people were watching, the big players like Instagram and YouTube, they didn't just ignore it.
No, they jumped on it.
They adapted. They rolled out their own short-form features, Reels, Shorts, kind of acknowledging this new reality.
And what a reality shift. It's really changed where we spend our time online, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
This evolution also means, each platform now has its own sort of ecosystem, its own rules for video length.
Right, the technical limits matter.
Yeah, like if you want long form, YouTube is still huge. Up to 15 minutes if you're not verified, but like 12 hours if you are.
Wow, 12 hours.
I know. Facebook gives you up to 240 minutes. Vimeo, basically no limit. Pinterest, up to 15 minutes.
Okay, so plenty of room for depth there.
Definitely. Then you shift to platforms maybe more geared toward short form. Twitter, what is it, 140 seconds? 2 minutes 20.
Yeah, pretty tight.
LinkedIn, surprisingly, lets you go up to 10 minutes. And TikTok, interestingly, also now up to 10 minutes.
We'll come back to that TikTok point.
Yeah. And finally, those platforms really focused on the snackable stuff.
The under a minute crowd.
Right. Facebook and Insta Reels, max 60 seconds. Facebook Stories, 20 seconds. IG Stories, 15. YouTube Shorts, also 60 seconds.
So it's a real patchwork.
It really is. And these limits, they kind of dictate the whole creative approach, don't they?
To do. And this brings up a really important question, I think. We hear it all the time. Short form is king.
Right. It's the mantra.
But is that the whole story? Are we maybe oversimplifying things?
How so?
Well, look at TikTok itself. Back in February 2022, they made that big move, increasing their max upload length to 10 minutes.
Yeah, I remember that. Seemed counterintuitive almost.
Right. But it wasn't random. It suggests they're strategically trying to compete with YouTube, stepping onto their longer form turf.
Interesting point. Taking on the giant.
Exactly. It tells you something about where the market might be heading, or at least diversifying. And then there's research challenging this whole shrinking attention span idea.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was settled science.
Well, maybe not. Recent findings suggest attention is more context dependent.
Context dependent, meaning?
Meaning it's not just shrinking overall. Sure, 85% of Gen Z use short-form apps for discovery, finding new stuff.
Okay.
But apparently, they will stick around for long-form deep dives when a topic really grabs them, when it resonates.
So it's not that they can't focus, it's that they choose when to focus.
Precisely. Think about it, you might binge watch a 3-hour documentary if you're hooked.
True, done that.
And then 5 minutes later, you're happily scrolling through 30-second TikToks.
Yeah.
It's not a shrinking capacity, it's a dynamic one. We're just incredibly selective.
That really does flip the script on the common wisdom. Wow.
Yeah.
So what's really interesting then is how these different links serve totally different purposes. Your choice really needs to line up with your specific goal, right?
Absolutely. Intentionality.
Okay, so take engagement. You'd think short form wins here, right? Quick hits, easy likes.
Seems logical.
But long form videos are surprisingly powerful. There's this report from 23. It found videos longer than 15 minutes actually account for half of all video engagement.
50%. Wow.
Yeah, even though they only make up about 8% of all videos produced.
So massively underutilized for engagement.
Totally. It's like the strategic gold mine. Everyone's chasing the quick viral thing, but maybe the real loyalty, the deep engagement, is being built in the longer stuff where there's less competition.
That makes sense. Giving real value.
Exactly. Then think about lead generation. Long form is great here, as a lead magnet or gated content.
Right. Offering something substantial enough that people will give you their email for it.
Precisely. For educating consumers, well, both can work. But if it's complex,
You need time.
you need time. Longer formats just give you that space to explain things clearly, properly, without trying to cram it all into 60 seconds.
Yeah, that never works well for complex topics.
And for driving clicks, like your click-through rate, CTR, short form is usually better there.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, like Jason Bercovici pointed out, you don't want people waiting ages for the call to action, right? Just long enough to give them a compelling reason to click.
Makes sense.
Right.
Get to the point quickly.
Yeah. And for just general brand visibility, short form, snackable stuff is perfect. Easy way to pop up in feeds, keep your brand top of mind.
Like little reminders you exist.
Exactly. And finally, responding to trends. Snackable content is king here. You can move super fast, jump on a trend while it's hot.
Before it goes stale.
Before it goes stale, yeah.
Okay, so if we tie all this together, the best length isn't some fixed rule.
Right.
It's really a dynamic choice. It's dictated by what you're actually trying to achieve. Your objective.
It's all about being intentional.
Exactly. Picking the right tool for the specific job you need to do, not just following the crowd.
And this whole conversation, this choice, it's becoming so relevant for podcasters now because video podcasts are just, they're everywhere. They're booming.
Absolutely huge right now.
I mean, Spotify for podcasters rebranding to Spotify for creators. That's a big signal.
Huge signal.
And YouTube is now arguably the #1 platform for actually consuming podcasts.
Which is wild when you think about podcasts starting as audio only.
Totally. But here's the key thing for podcasters, I think. Video podcasting isn't just about filming your full episodes.
Good distinction.
It also crucially includes those short, punchy clips. TikToks, shorts, reels. Those can pull in new listeners, make your stuff way more shareable, often with a lot less production effort than a full video show.
Right. So, okay, why are podcasters jumping into video then? What's the real driver?
Good question.
Well, primarily it seems to be about reaching new audiences. Simple as that.
Makes sense. Different strokes for different folks.
Exactly. Some people love audio, but a big chunk, especially younger listeners, they prefer to watch.
Right. Gen Z.
Yeah. For Gen Z listeners, video apparently gives them a better handle on context and tone. Like seeing facial expressions, 49% said that.
That nonverbal stuff.
Totally. And 45% feel more connected to the hosts when they can see them. Plus, get this, 84% of Gen Z monthly podcast listeners consume podcasts with some kind of video component.
84%. That's massive.
It's huge. And another kicker, 65% of people listening to podcasts on YouTube are doing it for the first time.
Wow. So it's a discovery engine.
A massive discovery engine. Then there's the benefit of visual supplements.
Like showing charts or examples.
Exactly. Adding charts, on-screen examples, maybe even live demos. It can make complex stuff way easier to grasp than just hearing about it. And let's be honest, it satisfies curiosity, right?
Yeah.
What do the hosts look like? What does that place they're describing look like? It makes it more immersive.
Definitely. Puts a face to the voice.
And the general power of video is just undeniable. Tweets with video. 10x the engagement of text only.
10 times.
Yeah. 62% of people watch videos under 60 seconds all the way through.
That's surprisingly high.
It is. And people remember 95% of a message from a video clip versus just 10% from reading text.
Okay, those stats really paint a picture. The visual element is just powerful,
Undeniably.
especially those short bursts. Which brings us back to why short-form videos are so appealing for podcasters.
Right. The lower barrier to entry sometimes.
Yeah, that ability to drive engagement, get shares on social media, but with, like you said, comparatively lower production lift, it's very attractive if you're just starting with video.
For sure. And if you're going to do short-form podcast clips, there are some pretty solid rules of thumb to maximize impact.
Okay, lay 'em on us.
First, check your dimensions. Always. You need that 9.16 aspect ratio portrait mode for TikTok, Reels, Shorts. It has to look native.
Right. Don't just slap a landscape video in there.
Please don't. Second, keep clips short and punchy. You know, people talk about that collective attention span being like 8 seconds.
Goldfish myth. Or maybe not a myth.
Huh, maybe not. So start strong. Controversial statement, bold, title, overlay, something to grab attention immediately mid-scroll. You're fighting for that split second.
Hook 'em fast.
Hook it fast. Third, add subtitles. Super important.
Yeah.
Not just for accessibility, which is key, but for everyone watching with the sound off, which is most people on social feeds.
Right. Gotta make sure they're readable, accurate.
Definitely. And finally, cater to your platform. Tailor your captions, your hashtags for each specific site. TikTok best practices aren't the same as LinkedIn's.
Good point. Treat each platform uniquely.
Yeah.
And we see podcasters doing this really well already, like the Canceled podcast. They use short clips to highlight the most outrageous, funny moments, leverages that quick banter.
Yeah, they're great at pulling those viral potential snippets.
Or We're All Insane. They create real tension with suspenseful hooks using text overlays, dramatic pauses. Really pulls you in.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Using the medium itself.
Exactly. And the Mile Higher podcast, they repurpose their long-form true crime discussions into these compelling short clips about eerie cases, conspiracy theories, often adding relevant images or video overlays.
Smart repurposing. Shows the versatility.
Totally. But okay, beyond clips, let's talk full video episodes. What are the benefits there?
Visibility, mostly.
Right. Increased visibility across the big podcast apps. YouTube, again, the reach is just enormous. What was it, 197 million U.S. users?
Something like that. And 62% using it daily. That's a huge potential audience for discovery.
Huge. And Spotify is growing massively in video, too. A 70% increase in video content on the app in the past year, plus that rebrand.
They're clearly betting big on video podcasts.
They really are. And here's that clever tip from co-host again. Even if you're audio only, you can still benefit by uploading your episodes to YouTube with just your cover art as the visual.
Ah, like an audiogram-style video, but the full episode.
Exactly. Most hosting platforms can automate that now. Easy discoverability boost, basically zero extra effort.
That's a smart, low-effort hack. But, okay, while the benefits of full video episodes are clear, there are some pretty significant considerations. Challenges, really.
Yeah, it's not always easy. Like what?
The big one is resourcing.
Yeah.
It takes more than just hitting record on a webcam.
Right. Money, time.
Money, time, maybe dedicated team members, specific expertise. That research said 54% of podcasters see lack of resources as their biggest challenge. That's over half.
Wow. That's telling.
It really is. And beyond just general resources, the production needs are higher.
You mean like needing a proper set?
Yeah, often you need more than just a decent camera. Maybe a branded background, proper lighting setups, specialized recording gear, better editing tools.
Yeah.
It's a step up to make it look professional.
It's a real investment.
It is. So if full video production just isn't feasible right now, that's okay.
That's the alternative.
Like we said, lean into those short-form videos or even audiograms. There's still great ways to build a visual identity, boost shareability, without completely overhauling your workflow.
That's a crucial point. It's easy to hear video and just think, huge production, massive budget. Good to know there are steps.
Absolutely. Start where you can.
But for those who are doing full video episodes well, there are some great examples out there.
Yeah, like who?
Smosh reads Reddit stories. It's lighthearted, funny, usually 15-30 minutes. Great blend of humor, reactions, commentary, really watchable.
Smosh. Yeah, they get video.
Then there's Rotten Mango. True crime, but really dark, immersive storytelling on YouTube. She incorporates research, insights, visuals, makes it super gripping.
Ooh, true crime works well with visual.
Totally. And on a more serious note, the rest is politics. political commentary, often over 30 minutes, insightful analysis, great guests, makes complex stuff really accessible.
Nice range of examples there. Shows it works across different genres and tones.
Definitely. So, okay, pulling this all together, what does it all mean for you, the creator, listening right now?
Yeah, the big takeaway.
The core message from all our sources seems really clear. The best results usually come from a mix, a strategic blend of long form, short form, and that snackable stuff.
It's not either. It's both hand.
Exactly. It's about building this whole content ecosystem.
Right. And that brings us straight to the power of repurposing content.
Ah, the magic word.
It really is powerful. Think about it. You take your big, substantial piece, that webinar, that full podcast episode.
Your pillar content.
Your pillar content, exactly. And you slice it and dice it into these bite-sized short clips for shorts, reels, TikTok.
Quick value nuggets.
Quick value little teasers.
Yeah.
They grab interest and can drive people back to the full thing.
Okay. Makes sense.
But it works the other way, too. Maybe a short clip goes unexpectedly viral. Well, that could inspire you to expand on that topic in a more in-depth, long-form piece. A full YouTube video, a whole deep dive episode.
Ah, interesting. Using the short form as a testing ground almost.
Kind of, yeah. The main idea is using short form as those strategic hooks to pull your audience into the deeper, richer content.
Got it. Hooks.
And throughout all this chopping and changing, you've got to maintain a consistent brand voice. That's key.
Right. Still needs to feel like you.
Exactly. And just briefly, monetization looks different too, right? Short form might get brand partnerships, platform fund payouts. Long form opens up ad breaks, Patreon, memberships, bigger sponsorships.
Different revenue streams for different formats.
Precisely. But ultimately, the underlying principle has to be test and iterate.
Always be learning.
Always. Use your analytics, see what works, experiment with different lengths, different styles, stay flexible, watch the trends, listen to your audience, but always stay true to your brand.
So this whole deep dive, it really shows it's not about picking a winner, is it? Short versus long.
Not at all.
It's about embracing both strategically to build a really successful approach to your content.
Yeah.
Short form gives you that quick engagement, that potential for virality. Long form gives you the space for deeper stories, real connection. Build that loyal audience.
You really need both parts of the equation for a well-rounded strategy.
Yeah. A richer experience for your audience all around.
Which, raises one final important question for you to think about.
Okay.
How might you rethink how you share information? Not just in video, but in any content you create. If you start thinking about the context of attention, rather than just assuming it's always shrinking. And how can you strategically adapt your message to meet your audience right where they actually are?